Dear friends, how you all doing? God bless you all. Pastor Sergey is with you, Studio Revival. I have a very unique person, Max. Max, how you doing, brother?
Doing good, how are you?
Introduce a little bit about yourself.
Hi everybody, my name is Max. I'm originally from Sacramento, California. I grew up in a Christian family. I'm from a Baptist background. My parents are both from Ukraine. They immigrated here quite a while ago, and now I'm here in Florida.
Sounds good. It's very important to know Max. He served in Rehabilitation Center as a director for quite a bit. Max, thank you for your service.
My pleasure.
I know God is leading you further. The center was at the low point when you got in there, but today, guys, how many students?
We have 9 students right now.
We're over full.
I know, praise the
We're
Lord.
packed. Praise the Lord, and thank you for the good team that we have in our rehabilitation center.
Absolutely.
Guys, very sensitive topic. It's a hot topic, but we are already talking. So my friends, I first of all wanted to speak up and say, look, we have drug addicts and we're like, hey, these guys need help. We have alcoholics and we're like, hey, we need help these guys out. And we have a gay community, which is in the Slavic communities. Now it's popping up, and it's so obviously what we see right now. And everybody, hush, hush, it's so quiet, let's not talk about it. But hey, those people need a salvation and a freedom just like the alcoholics and drug addicts. And I can introduce Max and he can introduce himself. He came here getting addicted to that sin that he lived in, and today God freed him, and he'll testify more. Max, I would like you to give us a little bit of explanation. I know you have been talking freely on social media in our churches, testifying what God did in your life. You know what? That tells me that God really freed you, because you don't care what happened. It's in the past. Now I have future and I'm moving forward. So we will talk about your past a little bit, if it's okay.
Absolutely.
I do believe Max could be a wonderful tool for you to get out and get helped, because this is very wonderful. Max, tell us a little bit about your turning point, how you got to the center of Florida here in Revival Church.
First of all, I appreciate it. This is a very sensitive topic, I know, especially in our Slavic community, and I'm really excited to talk about this because this is a real issue, a real issue especially in our Slavic communities. It's so covered up. It's so, as you said, it's put on the hush-hush,
Yes.
where it's almost a topic where it's looked down on. We don't talk about it at all.
Yeah.
My turning point myself. So I grew up kind of in a dysfunctional family. My dad himself, he was an addict in our family.
Oh wow.
So our family was
Was
open.
he using drugs or alcohol?
He was using drugs.
Drugs, yeah. Wow.
So our family the doors were open to sin, to chaos in our lives. And I first with how this journey started was, the beginning was I became addicted to pornography at 8 years old. Straight porn, and then into gay porn at 13.
Wow.
And then the sex addiction started at 16.
Wow.
That's when first things just began, and then from there on, the addiction grew. It just went in chaos. It just went all into full chaos.
Wow. That's crazy, man.
Mm-hmm.
Or how many years were you exposed to a gay community?
So this, I never was actually in the gay community up until 22.
22.
When I moved to Houston, I was living up by myself, and I was just kind of just going wild. Obviously, I had my skeletons in the closet, so one thing led to another. I began to go and find out that community more.
Wow.
And just go, and explore and see what that community is about. And from there, at 22, that's when I first got introduced to drugs as well. From there, I got really hyped up and addicted to just the party lifestyle.
Wow. I got a pretty quick question. That's pretty important for us to know, which is we wouldn't know, the people who never been exposed to gay community. What is gay community?
So honestly, what the gay community, they're very free, wild, just do whatever your heart desires. Whatever your heart desires, all they want to do is just whatever makes you feel good. Whatever is fun for you, be you. You know, listen to your heart and listen to your desires.
Do you think the gay community, it is an influence that really influence people? They support them and they kind of telling them that it's very good and you need to be part of it?
Depends what crowd. It's very different because you have because there's some that push the agenda, but the lifestyle that I was wrapped in was just the party lifestyle. That's it.
That's a different.
That's a whole different lifestyle that I was never introduced to.
Yes.
The ones that push the agenda, I never actually experienced that.
Another question: whenever you were doing your life party style, have you ever crossed a Slavic community, Slavic people?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
There were multiple times where I've met people from my hometown in Sacramento that I found out that they are in the community as well. So it's very much so in the Slavic community.
My friends, I do believe it's very important to talk about this topic right now because I was telling Max before this, there was a time in my life about 6 years ago to 7, I had one group of people that I led in a mission trip. I was very down to earth pastor, everybody knows this, but I am down to the earth to talk, to be open to it, and I talk to young people about this. And by the end of that trip, about 2 guys, younger, 16, 17 years old, they opened their hearts. They're like, hey, I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm in love with man. I feel like I have more attraction to man. I feel like that was birthed inside of me. I don't know what to do. I am so trapped. I said, I believe, Max, people like you, we need in our communities. I talked to you about this personally and the crowds that God's gonna use you for this to help the Slavic community to understand that, hey, it's like alcohol, it's like drugs, it's like a gay community, that you need help, you need to receive freedom. Max and I got another question.
Yeah.
I would like you to speak a guy or a girl that is exposed to a gay community right now, and their parents don't know nothing, and they say hiding in the closet. They're really afraid to have people know what they're doing. What would you say to a person like that watching you right now?
For anyone who's watching or anyone who has been introduced to that community, I would say it's a very dangerous community. Because dangerous in the way of it's too good to be true in the pleasures that it will bring. Because the way everything is painted there, it's like the skyline, the city skyline of New York, where everything looks picture perfect, but the garbage that comes with it there, they'll never tell you, because same-sex relationships do not work. I've experienced that myself, and I can tell you firsthand. There's a reason why they do not work.
Yeah.
And if this is something that you are seeking freedom from, this is the same sin as, just like Sergey was saying, this is the same sin as just drugs or alcohol.
Yeah. What would you say, what kind of repercussions is?
Repercussions of going into that community is definitely a mental game.
A mental game, wow.
A lot of it is the mental game. As well as I was definitely protected with God's grace, because that community has a lot of STDs, AIDS, so it's very easy to catch.
That you have a whole bunch of different thoughts coming through your head.
Oh, yes.
You have, like you said, a mental business in your head, and that's the biggest demon that could be. It's a mental business in your head telling you this is good, this is pleasure, go take whatever you want as soon as possible. This party lifestyle, it's the same thing as the drugs, or you seeing the rest of your life to live within this sin. we can say that when we are younger, we thought that we will party, drink, smoke, do drugs, and one day we'll change our lives and we'll move on. How would you see in the gay community this way? Is this something primarily, or you saw it as a lifestyle?
So that's a good question. What I would say is that this is the same as a lifestyle, because a lot of people in this community, in that community, they're just a bunch of broken people.
Wow.
People who had coming from broken families,
Wow.
didn't have a proper father figure, were sexually abused during that time.
Wow.
So, in my experience, a lot of those people who are there are just trying to fill a void.
Wow.
And they understood, because this is how I understood it too.
Wow.
This was the only way I could fill that void of being neglected, of a father's love or the mother's love.
Wow.
So, and I could definitely say that this is just a lifestyle that you could get hooked on.
Wow.
Because it brings you the same form and pleasures and instant gratification as drugs or alcohol would be.
Wow.
So, and definitely in my life, I would say it was filling a void for me.
Wow.
It was filling a void for me, but I never could actually fill that void with with anything that was presented in that community.
Wow. So basically, you think the gay community is from the broken people, from the broken family,
Absolutely.
and abused, sexually abused.
Yes.
That people need help.
Absolutely. 100%.
My friend, if you in a family that has been abused or sexually abused and you got quiet, and then now you're seeing everything start kind of creeping in, and then the lifestyles start taking over, if you need help, we are the people to help you right here. We have a good capability, and we have a heart for it. We have a heart of Christ to stretch our arm to you and say, hey, come, we'll help you out, Max. And eventually, I do believe you were so afraid of Russian community and Russian churches, right?
Used to be. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
It's with the help of the church here, that's been broken.
I mean, guys, this is very important. I know when Max came, he came here to a rehabilitation center, not a church, right?
Yeah.
And then he came here, he got exposed to speaking Russian church, and then church is loud and church is moving, and then time came, God really touched his life through these people. How much is the support this church and this community give you right now?
Definitely during my recovery period here, this church, I really felt Christ's love here.
Wow.
Because I remember someone telling me this is a topic that is unknown for our Slavic community.
For sure.
So there's not really the proper approach for this. And the best approach that was given towards me was Christ's love.
Wow.
Was treating this as any other sin.
Wow.
And
Yes.
any other internal issue.
That's right.
And definitely that's what helped me through my recovery, is understanding that, is feeling the love from our church, from our community here, is I felt everyone's love and understanding that, hey, I am just a broken person that needs help just like any other drug addict or alcoholic.
Yeah. How important for you to find the right community church. If you are actually in a very conservative church that never exposed to this, that they say sometimes we have no drug addicts and no alcoholics in our church. And you amongst those kind of people, is that better to find the church that will understand you, or run to people that in that same church?
I would. It's an interesting question, but I would definitely say coming to a church where they will treat this not any problem as any bigger than just normal lust or normal anger. Just it's treated the same way.
Yeah.
Because with my church, I loved my church where I grew up, but they were not. they were just not equipped to handle this and to handle this kind of problem.
Yeah, for sure.
You know.
Yeah, and it's very usual because it's even hard for them to work with the drug addicts. You know.
Yes.
They don't know what to do, where they should start from.
100%.
And it's pretty exposed more than gay community because gay community is maybe even more than drugs right now. But you know, a lot of people are just hiding. You know.
Yep.
And I do believe the time will come, and I pray for this. So our Slavic community will be open for people like that. Dear friends, and that's very wonderful. And today, Max is serving in church. He's helping out church. He actually is in worship, and they're doing really awesome. So Max, tell us a little bit about your ministries in church that you came from Rehabilitation Center as a director. Now you went the way up into a church, you're working with a church. Tell us a little bit what you do in church.
So my definitely it was a blessed time serving in the rehab center. It's helped me so much just recover and become the person I am today. And it's going through that process has given me a lot of confidence to serve into the church. Right now I found my place in the worship team and our administration team as well. So it's definitely been a huge blessing to come to a church and community like this where I can get plugged in and do what I can from my side.
Is this church ever had restriction? Oh, you were like this, you cannot do this.
No, I don't believe we were
Praise
ever.
the Lord. And that's who we are, guys. We're transparent. If God really changed your life. You know, I was talking about 5 points of our church, and the third point is transformation. If God really changed your life, you need to find yourself to do something in the body of Christ, which is church. So God bless you guys, and God is awesome to move forward. And Max, I know you are studying right now. What are you studying for today?
Well, I'm actually not studying anymore. I finished my real estate schooling. I have my license now.
So you already
so moving
realtor.
forward, yes sir.
Congratulations, brother.
Thank you.
That's really awesome. I know you have been doing this. So wow, so now you have your career lined up for being a realtor. Go into this work. That's very awesome. And what is your future? What's your plans for, let's say, I like plans. I like to put guidance in a year. What's your plans in a year?
Within a year?
Yes.
It's buy a house, get married.
That's good.
Stay here in Florida and just continue serving in our church because and growing with our church because this is a community that grows and never stays in the same place, and we're always moving forward.
Max said getting married, and he has a wonderful girl that he's dating, and they're getting ready to marry when God's timing and the financial timing as well.
Yes.
So I do believe God's gonna do his wonderful things. Max, whatever you want to leave to people, whoever's listening to you, it's all kinds of people listening to you right now. It's church people, non-church people, people in problems. It's your time, brother.
Definitely a message that I would like to leave is that if you have loved ones or you know someone who is in this in these problems, or you know that they're leaning towards this community, all I would say is that do not be afraid to show them love and kindness, because that is what they need most of all. But they need to know that it's Christ's love and that they are accepted back, within the church, and that there is help from this, and that's only through Christ.